you're running a beautiful and gracious interview, and I think the world is going to hear an awful lot more about Mr. William Looman. And God bless you.
Yeah.
God bless you, Patriot.
Yeah, exactly. God bless
and
you.
And it's so nice to really hear what you sound like, Bill. William.
Thank you. Facebook made me
good
change
luck.
my name to William.
What's that,
and
Bill?
Keep up the good work.
Semper Fi.
Semper Fi.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. All right, thanks for calling. Appreciate that. Yeah. What do you think about that, Bill? What you had to say?
If it's a calling, it'll be an honor to serve again, and I'll do my best.
Well,
hopefully I won't disappoint anybody.
Well, with all this hubbub going on, I don't want to jump the gun on anything or anything, but have there been any, I don't know, what do you want to call it, inclinations towards possible, making a difference in the political realm itself, running for office?
Oh, you mean like Joe the plumber, huh?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a funny thing. You have kind of swerved into something there. You have, I guess in some folks' mind, become the new Joe the plumber. And as a lot of folks know, Joe's actually running for Congress out there in Ohio, and he's looking to unseat the incumbent Democrat and send her packing. And it looks like he's going to do it, too. He's got her on the run already. But as far as you go, I hate comparing people to other people, you sound like Tom Cruise or what, the baloney. We're individuals. We're just who we are. We're the way God made us. And yet, there's that tendency to look for the common ground that you have with other people that have similar circumstances. And Joe the plumber, Sam Wurzburg, he wasn't looking for any of this. None of it. He was just a guy that, Obama wandered up to him. And, and he started talking to him. The next thing you know, he's under, Joe is under attack. And he ends up getting a whole lot of support from people just like you have. And so, I can't help but wonder if there hasn't been any discussion amongst your family, your friends, the people that you know, about any possible political aspirations. Anything like that going on?
To be frank with you, like Newt Gingrich would say, yes. Initially, I had some discussions sparked up here in my community, and in the county itself, there's a commissioner that was supposed to, or was thinking about not running for re-election in my precinct, and I was thinking about initially going ahead and putting my hat in the ring and see if I could get elected and serve my community as well as my county. And then recently a vote in the Senate and House for the National Defense Authorization Act, I think that's how it's termed. They piggybacked some legislation on that bill that basically, my take is, takes away our rights and allows our military to ignore posse comitatus and then move in and arrest U.S. citizens, or the potential is there to arrest U.S. citizens and incarcerate them indefinitely without charges.
Right.
And one of my senators, Zaxby Chambliss, I get notifications on it every time they do a vote at the House and Senate level on my email, and I keep up with the way my senators and my representative are voting. Bill Heath is voting in line with everything I feel. Zaxby Chambliss voted for NDAA, which I did not. It just blew me away that he would do that, because previous to that he had been pretty much voting the way I would vote if I was in his position. And Isaacson, our representative, he's swayed over to the what I would term almost treasonous act of voting for that bill.
Absolutely.
And now my local GOP is gently pushing me. Some not so gentle, but they're wanting me to go ahead and make a run for Zaxby Chambliss' seat.
Really?
And,
what is that?
I've even through. Huh?
What is that? What is the position again? For what?
He's a senator that represents our state. There's two.
Yeah, but I mean, for you, what were you talking about running for?
The senator, Zaxby Chambliss' seat.
Oh, okay.
And that'll be at the federal level. And
welcome back to the
I'm
conversation, Mark.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, welcome back. Hey, I'm a little sarcastic, especially if you were a liberal, you would be catching it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So, Bill, recapping on this, you're actually considering running for the United States Senate seat currently held by Zaxby Chambliss.
Yes, sir. And that means that I assume we would be going head-to-head because we're both Republicans. I don't feel I need to change my party affiliation to Democrat just to go up against him in a general election if I can win that nomination. So I'm going to stick with a Republican, and we'll go head-to-head during the nomination process if I can get the support that I feel comfortable with. And I'm thinking about running on a novel idea. I'm thinking about running for room and board and travel expenses. Let them keep the salary and give it back to the people.
Right.
And I'm also thinking about running for just the one term. And I think I can. I have some tenacity. I have some skills. I think I can get what I need to get done in 6 years. And one of the things I'd like to see is term limits.
Right.
And maybe a pay reduction. If I can run on zero, or if I can live on zero and just live off what my company can provide for me and what God can provide for me, I think the other 534 people up there can do the same.
Right. Huh. Now, what about your business in the meantime? What would you be able to do with that?
Fortunately, I've got, as a small business owner, I've modeled my business very streamlined, and I put key individuals in place that will allow me the latitude to be able to do something like this for America or for the Constitution or for the people. And that business should, with the key individuals I've brought on board, be able to self-sustain itself. Especially if my wife helps me out. So
yeah.
Well, Bill, when does Senator Chambliss come up for re-election?
2014. But there will be if there's nobody going up against him as a Republican, then he'll just hit the general election and be up for re-election if he chooses to run for re-election. But 2014 is when his term is over.
So you've got a little bit of time, but really not much. If you're going to mount a statewide campaign, it's going to be pretty close to time to start developing your plan of attack and meeting the people.
Yes, sir. I'm already kind of in process. I've already got pledges to help give me that initial money that I need to get on a ticket. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't vetted it. I'm going to be working with my local GOP party here and see how and what the loop or the hoops are that I got to jump through to be able to get on the ticket, and then I'm going to find out what funding I need to do that. But I'll run a streamlined campaign, but I'll still be able to get the message out.
Great, that's fantastic. Wow.
Of course, I got a huge following on Facebook. I don't think I have a problem with the Patriots that are supporting me there. I think the message will probably propel itself.
Well, yeah, absolutely. All right, so you're looking at possible political aspiration and running for Congress, right?
No, Senate.
Yes, sir.
Senate, sorry. Yeah, right.
Well, it is part of Congress.
Right.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, glad I got completely more confused. That's helpful. Well, let's see here. I guess I got all kind of questions for you along the lines of you were involved. What was it? Yesterday, you went to Atlanta because there was what was it? Some kind of Obama's lawyer showed up for. Can you explain that whole thing to everybody, Bill? Because I'm going to fumble it.
Yeah, there's a number of patriots and I was kind of in the cheerleading capacity. I'm not directly involved with the litigation that was going on, but Carl Swinson is a close friend of mine, and he was one of the plaintiffs in a case, one of two, I think, that are seeking that Obama, through his own admissions, is not a naturalized or natural-born citizen, and he and another plaintiff sued or put in or seeking or have sought removing Obama from the ballot here in Georgia. And the way it kind of played out, he's been working on this for years, and he was working on it originally at the birther angle, where they were trying to prove that he was not a U.S. citizen, but through Mr. Obama actually presenting his supposed long-form birth certificate, he showed the citizenship on that birth certificate of his mother and his father was a Kenyan citizen, or if I'm not mistaken, a British. It falls under British rule.
Mm-hmm.
And that in itself has court precedence, I think as far back as the 1800s, where if both parents are not actual U.S. citizens, then the child is not considered a natural-born citizen. So that made him ineligible, and that was their case in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
And it was presented yesterday in front of an administrative judge, and also previous to that was presented to our Secretary of State, and then there was some back and forth between Obama's attorney, who was representing him here in the state, and their attorneys, and the Secretary of State, and there's letters posted all over the internet, or copies of the letter, a couple of letters where they were going back and forth, and basically Obama's attorney said, quash the subpoena, my client isn't going to show up. The judge refused to quash the subpoena.
Really?
And required that he show and be in court, and which he did not show up. And then a later letter or a request was kind of an arrogant way that I perceived the attorney wrote it. He wrote to the Secretary of State and said, "Hey, this is a circus. Don't pursue it. There's previous litigation, which was there's previous litigation where the judges said they weren't going to hear the case, but those cases did not focus on the angle in which Carl Swinson and the other guy focused on, where he, through his own admission, he was basically admitting he was not a natural-born citizen. They were more focused on trying to prove in court that he was not a U.S. citizen, and because there was no real records released to prove it or disprove it, they would have to take it to court and prove it inside the courtroom, and all the previous judges didn't want to hear it. Well, yesterday, Mr. Obama didn't show up, and neither did his attorney, and immediately the judge, from my understanding, from what Carl was telling me, he told me this over the phone. He also backed it up in writing on Facebook and through emails. The judge immediately wanted to find, by default, in against Mr. Obama and for the plaintiffs, both the plaintiffs. And they kind of stepped back and took a look at it and said, "Hey, let's go ahead and move forward." Even though there was 2 empty chairs in the courtroom was filled to capacity. I couldn't even get in. I was running a few minutes late, so I went up there and got turned around by our finest Georgia State Patrol officer and the Capitol Police officer that was there.
Uh-huh.
And so I had to turn around and go back to my truck and move on to my later task that day. But from my understanding, they went ahead with the proceeding, even though the defendant wasn't there and his legal representation wasn't there, or his legal representative